This is a good question. How to know oneself. Jiddu Krishnamurti. To know oneself is the most arduous task we can undertake. We may do everything possible in life, but if we do not know ourselves, we will be empty, dull, and devoid of intelligence. Even if we hold the position of Prime Minister, a highly qualified engineer, or a very skilled technician, we will function only mechanically. Thus, we must feel the importance of knowing ourselves and the serenity it implies. Knowing oneself is absolutely necessary. So, pay attention. You see yourself in the mirror, and after a few days or weeks, you see yourself again and say, "Here we are." Similarly, can you obtain knowledge about what you are by observing yourself? Can't we look at our gestures, the way we walk, the way we speak, our personal behavior, whether we are cruel, rude, or patient? Because in that case, we would begin to know ourselves. We can know ourselves by looking into the mirror of what we do, what we think, and what we feel. The mirror is this: feeling, doing, and thinking. And in this mirror, we begin to perceive what we are. The mirror shows the facts, but we do not like them, so we try to alter them and distort them, and then we fail to see them as they are. When you see yourself, not just in the mirror while combing your hair, but also when you look inwardly, you observe yourself through the knowledge you have about yourself. The image you have built about yourself, something like, "I am like this, I am not like this, I will be something different in the future." All this movement is the image you have of yourself. So when you see yourself, you are looking through the eyes of that image, which is the past, and therefore you are not really seeing. To truly see, it is necessary to observe without the observer, who is the past, the creator of the image. Do you understand? Can you observe yourself without the past? Time is essentially linked to the ego, but observation itself does not depend on time. And for example, if you observe a bird, there is no time in that. There is only observation, right? Now, can you observe yourself in such a way that the I is not present? The definitive answer to the human problem lies in seeing things as they are. In fact, free from the deception of self-interest. Come on, first, can you observe something without the use of words? Can you observe something without any previously formulated knowledge? When the mind is constantly speaking, we cannot observe what is, but only the projections we ourselves create. Each of us has an image of what we think we are or what we should be, but this image completely prevents us from seeing how we really are. We cannot know ourselves if we do not manage to observe ourselves exactly as we are, without distortions or any desire for change. So, we need to examine this question deeply. Is it possible to observe something without a network of words interfering in this observation? When observing a cloud, for example, can you observe it without words? Look at it without dividing yourself as an observer, and therefore without the use of thought. Then, there is awareness and attention in the very act of looking. This means being completely present. Even if this act of looking lasts only a second or a minute, that is enough. This requires careful attention. Can we do this? Through this looking, remaining in this freshness, with a mind that is not tied to words or reactions, but that looks at everything as if for the first time, we can observe ourselves, and then we will know ourselves. This observation is an attentive vigilance, without letting a single thought escape, without watching it, being aware of it, giving your full attention to that single thought, and then to the next thought, and to the next, continuing in this way, tremendously attentive. Do you understand? Remaining attentive is the basis of everything else. When you observe yourself with great attention, there is no distortion. Do this now, as I speak, and you will discover it for yourself. It is a very simple phenomenon. Do not complicate it. Just know yourself. Know who you are, not according to someone else, but only for yourself, observing yourself. Begin to investigate. Begin to look into the mirror, which is yourself. Know yourself, in fact, not theoretically, not in a verbal way, but through a real, intelligent, and deep observation at every moment of life. For long ages, I wandered through this world of fleeting things. I knew its passing delights, like the beautiful rainbow, which very soon dissolves into nothing. So too, since the origins of the world, I have seen all things pass. Beautiful, joyful, delightful. In the search for the eternal, I lost myself among finite things. I tasted them all. Through the passing ages, I came to know the pleasures of the transient world. The tender mother with her children, the arrogant and the free, the beggar wandering the face of the earth, the comforts of the rich, the tempting woman, the beautiful and the ugly, the authoritative, the powerful, the important man, the benefactor, the protector, the oppressed and the oppressor, the liberator and the tyrant, the man of many possessions, the renunciate, the practical man and the dreamer, the arrogant priest in sumptuous robes, and the humble devotee, the poet, the artist, the creator. I bowed before the altars of the world. I knew religions, one by one. I performed countless ceremonies, rejoiced in the pomp of the world. I was a fighter, in battles won and lost. I despised and was despised. I endured the sorrows and agonies of countless misfortunes. I swam in pleasures and opulence. In the secret recesses of my heart, I exulted. I knew births and deaths without number. I traversed all these fleeting realms amid passing ecstasies, certain of their permanence. Yet, I never found the eternal kingdom of happiness. Once I sought you, O eternal truth, summit of all wisdom. At the mountain's peak, in the starry sky, in the shadows of the tender moonlight, in the temples of man, in the books of the learned, in the tender spring leaf, in restless waters, in the face of man, in the babbling stream, in sadness and pain, in joy and ecstasy. But I did not find you. As the mountaineer ascends the high peaks, shedding his many burdens step by step, I too rose to the heights, abandoning transient things. Like the renunciate in golden robes, seeking happiness with his begging bowl, I too renounced. Like the gardener who kills the weeds in his garden, I too annihilated the ego. Like the winds, I am free and unbound. Strong and diligent as the wind that penetrates the hidden corners of the valley, I searched. The recesses of my soul, purifying myself of all things, past and present. Like the silence that suddenly spreads over the noisy world, so too, suddenly, I found you in the depths of the heart of all things, in my own. On the mountain trail, sitting on a rock, beside me and within me, I found you. And in you and in me, all things contained. Happy is the man who, in all he encounters, finds you and me, in the light of the setting sun, filtering through the delicate lace of a springtime tree. I contemplated you. In the sparkling stars, I contemplated you. In the bird that swiftly passes and disappears into the darkness of the mountain, I contemplated you. Your glory awakened the dormant glory within me. Having found, O world, the truth, the eternal happiness, I wish to share it. Come, let us meditate together, let us ponder together and be happy. Let us reason together and bring forth happiness. Just as I wandered lost among transient things in search of that eternal happiness, so too are you, O world, lost in the sphere of the ephemeral. Awaken and gather your strength. Look around and meditate. That incorruptible happiness. Happiness that is the only truth. That is the end of all search, of all inquiry and doubt, that frees from birth and death. Happiness that is the only law, the only refuge, the source of all things, that gives eternal comfort. That true happiness, which is illumination, dwells within you. There is only one truth, one law, one refuge, one guide to that eternal happiness. Awaken, rise up, meditate, and gather your strength. The matrix is complex, but each of us holds a part of the solution. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and together we'll see beyond appearances.